So here we are finally with Myrath's new single titled Dance. Now I've reviewed Myrath before on the channel. I've reviewed their most recent album so far, which was Legacy. They've made 4 albums overall, and a brief history of Myrath is it's Tunisian metal, so they incorporate the Tunisian sound into their music. But a thing why I really like Myrath is when it comes to Myrath, you have the first album, Hope, which was a very metal album with a lot of guitar leads and a lot of key leads, as well as very aggressive vocals. With the second album, Desert Call, you had more of a melodic style of singing, but it was still metal-based. But the vocals were drastically different. It seemed like it was a completely different singer, but in fact it's not. So it shows the range of this vocalist, which obviously is a great thing. And again, the second album was a lot more kind of laid back, not aggressive metal, but more of a musical type of metal. Then the album after that, it went more in lines with a metal/rock type of vibe, which was a lot more basic in structure. The Tunisian sound started coming in a bit more in this album and experimenting with it. The solos were a bit more laid back. Then you got Legacy, which incorporated the Tunisian sound way more than any previous album. The songs had loads to it. You had solos in just a few songs, but I think that was just to make all the other songs kind of speak and do its own thing with the Tunisian sound. And now we're here with the new Myrath song, Dance. So far, every album we've had changes, which again is why I really like the band. You have a great singer, great guitarist, great keyboardist. The keyboardist is a composer. He composes all the Tunisian sounds, so he writes all of it and says what he wants them to do and everything. And you have a pretty decent drummer and bassist. Again, there was a solo on Legacy that was a bass solo. So they're all very gifted. So when it comes to Dance, where are they going now? Now, with Dance, it kind of follows along the same line as Legacy, but it seems that they've kind of gotten used to that new experimentation and fusion of the metal/Tunisian sound. So with Dance, it starts off very Tunisic. It's just the Tunisian instruments and everything. There is no band. Eventually you get a very deep, fat guitar tone coming in, and then you get into the rhythmic section, which is pretty much same in tone and style of Believer off the Legacy album. And that kind of goes the whole band and everything, along with the Tunisian sound throughout the instruments. As it gets to the main riff, the vocalist comes in. It's not overly pretty, it's not overly dark, it's kind of in the middle there. The instruments back out. It's one of them type of songs where for the verse he will sing parts and then the band disappears, and then they'll come in and do a bit of a few kind of power chords, a bit of a riff and everything, and then pull back for him to do more singing. There's one part in the verse where you get a bit of a hold and everything with the guitar, so a bit of a saw of a whammy or a hold or something like that. Then you get the chorus, which the chorus is again one of these really catchy things, just dance with me, dance, and then his voice goes soothing kind of to a very kind of low registered as he says a line. So a bit of range. It's very catchy, it's very musical. If you can hear the music in the background, here's the chorus right now. So as he says you, it's a definitely kind of lower register. It's not very low, but it's just a nice variety there. After the chorus, we get a great thing, which is just basically completely different. It is not the same riff. Nothing about that first verse is present here for this second part right now. So, as you can hear, if you can, the second part is a lot subtler. It's very, very mellow. You just get very, very subtle guitar tones, a lot of bass and a lot of drums with the smooth vocals. At some parts you get a bit of a distorted guitar in there, but overall it's just a lot more subtle. Then it gets back into the chorus, as you can hear now. Now after this chorus is done, you get a bit of the Tunisian sound by itself, just like in Believer's Legacy. You just get a bit of an interlude with a Tunisian sound leading into the solo. You get some Tunisian lyrics through this part, as you're hearing now, so just a bit of a foreign language. Now solo. And for the solo, you get a lot of speeds, you get a lot of rhythmic parts, a lot of catchy parts, you get saws, you get holds and everything. It lasts a while, so a lot of the first part is all the fast stuff, then it's basically just a kind of cool groove part, then a bit more of a kind of melodic melody, and a bit of shred to finish it, back into the chorus. But then the chorus has a solo underneath it at times. So after they do the solo around the first time, the second time you get a bit of a lead, as you do right here now. So definitely more lead-based, this song, compared to what we had with Legacy. So, 2 basic solos, and the solo still goes on. It goes on for a fair while throughout this lines, just dance with me, dance. And then the song ends on the Tunisian sound with the foreign vocals, because Myrath do sometimes sing in their foreign language. It is pretty much the whole song. The whole song is English, basically. But here and there they will put a Tunisian word in just because they want to incorporate a bit of their culture. So overall, what do I think? Well, I'm massively impressed. Like, Legacy, I am a person who really likes lead solos. And in Hope, I got a lot of leads. I got a lot of keyboard leads, same with Desert Call. And then the album after that, we had a fair bit of interesting leads, but they were definitely a lot more kind of stripped back, basic kind of rock lead solos, just a simple shred, a simple melody one. But nothing too big, nothing too long. And then you also had some songs that kind of didn't have it. Then when it comes to Legacy, that album had a fair few songs without a solo, but then a fair few with solos. And they were very basic, they were just very, very pretty solos to go with the really catchy and pretty rock songs that they had. So with this, it does follow Believer. But if you look at the music video for Believer, it's the band in the desert area facing off against this kind of oppressor of the land, and they're trying to defeat him. Now, Dance's music video is the band basically just coming together and saying there's a kid in the other room who wants to see you. But as the lead singer goes in, he's sucked into that desert realm. And then the lead singer says, not again, grabs the thing that gets him to enter. And then it's all about saving this kid in this desert area. And when they find him and just about to release him at the end of the video, the oppressors grab him and take him, and then it says to be continued. So technically it seems that this song, if not the album, is going to be a sequel and a concept album off of the one-track Believer off of the Legacy album. Which is interesting, and yes, Dance has a very kind of beautiful, rhythmic, very catchy chorus. Like Believer, not as catchy. It's still very catchy. Myrath is extremely catchy orientated. But the difference here is there is definitely Tunisian sounds constantly throughout this song, and then you get the epic leads. Legacy, the leads would only last a short amount of time, and I said they were short and sweet. Here, the solo does last a fair while. You're probably looking about half a minute or more, probably. And he does a nice range. It's shred, but it's not mindless shred. It's interesting, memorable shred. It's got beautiful tone, it has beautiful melodies to it, and great saws and bends. And then after the choruses through after that, you get a kind of pulled apart chorus and get little chunks, and in between that you have again another lead with not as much shred but a lot more in the way of musicality and hold, and it just sounds beautiful. It just sings, it jumps out at you, and it's just singing. You can feel it connect with your soul. It is such a beautiful end solo. It's a beautiful song. It's immensely catchy, and I am over the moon ecstatic about the coming of this next album. Myrath is one of my most favourite bands. They are so talented, they are so varied, all the musicians are talented. You don't get the same thing with them ever, so, at least so far, and I hope that remains true, and they are catchy and fun. If you listen to other bands like Avenged Sevenfold, Iron Maiden, yes, they're great, but it's very technical and it's very kind of dark and brooding. With Myrath, you get talent, but it's seriously a lot more fun. It's not dark, it's not brooding, it's not depressing. It's a great fun time with great talent to back it. Hope isn't fun. Hope is definitely more in lines with the Avenged Sevenfold Maiden style, is just a hell of a lot of talent on show and quite dark. But with things like Legacy and Dance, it's a hell of a fun time. If you like lead solos and not just shred, but a very varied, very talented guitarist who can make the guitar jump off the page, then Myrath is it. If you like fantastic vocals, Myrath has it. If you like varied vocals, Myrath has it. If you like really catchy, fun songs, Myrath has it. If you want something darker and aggressive, go to their first album, Myrath has it. If you like key solos, go to the first album, Myrath has it. Want a bass solo? Listen to a song off Legacy, Myrath can do that. If you're sick of metal and rock that does the same style, the same tones and everything, you want something different, something you've never heard in metal before, Myrath has it. Myrath incorporates Tunisian instruments, Tunisian singers, Tunisian vocals, on the rarest of occasions at least, with the vocals, mixed in with metal. And even if they didn't have the Tunisian sound, everything is still catchy and amazing, but they just give it every bit more. If I were to rate this song, I would give it a high 9. It is great, it is incredible. It's not a masterpiece 10 out of 10. To make this song 10 out of 10 for me, it would be a longer song with all these variations and things. Like, the song is only pretty much 4.5 minutes, and it definitely feels like they've crammed a lot in. You get 2 completely different verses, then you get 2 different choruses, the one at the end with the solo through it. You get 2 fantastic solos that are both very long in length and varied, and then all the Tunisian sounds and everything, making everything unique, and then the great vocals and tones and keys that are throughout and everything. So, for 4.5 minutes, there is a hell of a lot there. But imagine if this was 8 minutes. It would be mind-blowingly incredible. That is where my 10 is for this band. Just making it a lot bigger. And then, as I say, this is only 1 track. I don't know if it's going to be a concept album, but if so, then it just makes it that much better. But at the minute, I'm going to say it's 9. It is a fantastic, great song. And I really like this track. So, that is pretty much it. 9 out of 10. Highly recommended. I'm seriously impressed with this song. And if you've never heard Myrath, seriously check them out. And make sure you check a song from each album, because it is vastly different, just to show you just how widespan they are. So, until the album drops or another single or something else comes out, that'll be it from me. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.